I don't know if you remember this or not, but when COVID happened, some people were putting out their Christmas lights and decorations to try to up the vibes. I think the logic was, well, I'm happy around Christmas time. I feel good and warm. And so I'll just kind of copy externally what I do in December, and then I can just kind of bottle up this joy of Christmas and then just add it to any situation I want. So I appreciate the effort, but it didn't really work super well. Christmas is great. I love it, but you can't just take that special moment and just use it whenever, or the special feelings, the decorations, the sentiment. You can't just do that. It doesn't really work that well. And if you do it so much, then Christmas itself actually loses some of its significance because we've already celebrated it so much. So that was COVID, and that was during quarantine. But something that does still happen now is that we can still celebrate Christmas kind of early. And it's unfortunate because we don't always prepare for it as much. And we have this season called Advent, I'm sure you know, and it's meant to be a season of waiting and preparation. I know that what I've seen is after Halloween, people are getting the Christmas music out and the decorations, especially stores, right? And I know they want to make money, but it is really? We're a couple months out and we're doing this already? And even, to be honest, after Thanksgiving, that's when really that happens, where there's the decorations and the music and then the celebrations and maybe even gift giving a couple weeks in advance. And so, yes, there is a Christmas season in the church, liturgically speaking, but the season of Christmas is actually starting Christmas, and then it's actually after Christmas. So we have Christmas Day, and then there's the Christmas octave. So there's actually supposed to be 8 days of celebration for Christmas. And many people don't do this, and I probably don't perfectly do it myself, but there's supposed to be 8 days of this solemnity. It's a fancy churchy language for a really big celebration. We're supposed to go all out for 8 days. And then there's a Christmas season. So our Christmas season has basically been shifted before Christmas. And what happens is we don't actually generally prepare for Christmas in the sense of meditating upon the coming of Jesus. We're preparing in the sense that we're buying gifts and we're having celebrations, we're singing songs, but we're not preparing in the best way. So I'm trying to help recover the season of Advent. Advent is a great season. It's a season of preparation. In Lent and Easter, there's this dynamic of feasting and fasting. There's a time of penance and simplicity, and there's a time of extravagance and celebration. So there's that dynamic in Lent and Easter, and it's supposed to happen in Advent and Christmas. Maybe not the exact same. Advent is still supposed to be penitential, a little more serious, somber, reflective, quiet. Advent is really a season of waiting. In Advent, we're waiting and preparing for the second coming of Christ. We don't know when that will happen. It could happen right now. But it's a season of preparing for the second coming of Christ, reflecting upon death and judgment. And then it's also reflecting upon the coming of Jesus at Christmas. And really, any meditation or any prayer requires reflection and silence. And Advent is the same way. We need that space to prepare for Christmas. So I would just like to encourage you to help me change the culture and bring Advent back, have it be more of a real thing. Right now, it's basically, priest wears purple, we sing O Come, Emmanuel, and that's about it. But to really enter into the spirit of Advent, we will actually discover that we'll get more out of Christmas the more we prepare for it. So it's not just hey, don't have fun, don't celebrate, limit the fun. It's no, let's prepare so that this celebration is more meaningful. So maybe just to conclude and give some practical tips for Advent. So one, it's going to be really hard. You're going to not like me, but I would really refrain from listening to Christmas music, at least as much as you can. Imagine being in Lent and singing Easter hymns. Imagine it's Good Friday and we're singing, Jesus Christ is risen today, alleluia. We would think, well, we're commemorating the Lord's Passion, preparing for Easter. So why are we singing this? So granted, there's a pretty big difference between the passion of Jesus and his resurrection. In Advent, like Jesus is almost born versus born. So yeah, maybe as you get closer to Christmas, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, listen to Advent music. Listen to music that's helping prepare. When it comes to secular Christmas music, I'm not sure what to tell you about that. Because that's not really as much about the birth of Jesus. Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Well, it's not real anyways. Although, whatever we're doing, I don't think we should eliminate that spirit of prayer and silence and preparation. So I'm not saying Christmas music is evil, but whatever it takes to enter into the season of Advent, and I do think listening to more Advent music could be helpful. Another recommendation would be try to create more space in your schedule. I know it's hard. I'm busy. A lot of us are busy. But to the extent you can, and maybe it's not even possible this year, but maybe it's possible next year. But try to really carve out space to pray. Carve out time for reflection. Don't schedule as many social events to really give yourself time to pray. Then once you have that time to pray, I would encourage you to also read the scriptures. Any of the scriptures is fine, but especially the ones that are about the coming of the Messiah, the ones on maybe judgment, because again, we're reflecting on the second coming of Christ. To make it easier for you, you can just search daily mass readings Catholic, and it will give you, any day you do that, it will give you the readings for Mass that day. And the church has already selected readings for Advent that are about preparing for the second coming of Christ, preparing for judgment, preparing for the coming of Jesus at Christmas, for the coming of the Messiah, the hope and the promises that are connected to that. So it makes it easy for you. So maybe taking some time for those daily Mass readings, having some time of silence to reread, read again, reflect, take time in silence, listen to God. That's really important. So whatever it is that you decide to do, just try to really enter into this spirit of Advent. I'm not trying to limit the fun. I love the fun. I love the celebration. Yes, let's have a ton of fun. Let's have a ton of celebration. Let's go all out for Christmas. But maybe if we can shift the culture, maybe it can't happen all in this one year, but let's shift more of the celebration to after Christmas. Even like family gatherings and things like that. Maybe it's not possible, whatever. Do whatever it is you have to do to gather with your family, but maybe it is possible to gather on Christmas or the days after Christmas in the Christmas octave or in the Christmas season. So that would be my recommendation for all of us during Advent. Again, the whole goal is to get more out of Christmas. It's to be more prepared. It's a season of preparation. The last little recommendation I would have would be to go to confession as well. Confession is something connected to Lent. Also be intentional about doing that in Advent as well. Thank you for listening or watching, and God bless.